Hear ye, hear ye. Gather round, all ye good folk, for I bring tidings of the most curious and entertaining of jaw flappers. Come forth and lend thine ears to this qualified nonsense. A most delightful gathering of three friends who may or may not be entangled in some web of, shall we say, complicated relations. But that's for you to decide. Do these merry companions share more than just their love of words? Perchance they may, or perchance they may not, indulge in the kind of friendly banter that could raise an eyebrow or two. But fear not. Their wives do not listen, and their listeners do not wives, as they navigate the absurdities of life, love, and everything in between with wit, charm, and a sprinkle of romantic mystery. So again, bend thine ears to qualified nonsense, where nonsense is always qualified. And romance? Well, that remains to be seen. Or not, who knows? Only time and their cast of pod shall tell. My name's Jake.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Matt.
And this is qualified nonsense.
Did
you guys know that I used to be an actor?
Whenever I hear like Cockney or stuff like that, I can't not think of two things of like, or like the medieval kind of stuff. Like, we just finished Ren Fair on HBO Max, and there's this documentary. It was kind of interesting. It was actually very interesting, but I can't not think of those people. But also Matthew Berry, the guy who's the English actor from What We Do in the Shadow. That's his name, right, Brandon?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I don't have time for your complicated sex potions. He's like,
you really are the most devious bastard in New York City.
Yeah. I can't not like hear him in the background.
He's so funny. I haven't seen that show, but I've just seen clips here and there. And
have you ever seen? Speaking of Ren Fairs, there's a guy who he's like a roast comic, but like people pay him to, you're like, hey, roast my friend. Like he shows up to Ren Fairs. He's like a jester type guy, and like, but he roasts people in like, that medieval type style language.
No, I haven't.
And he's
seen
like,
that.
You have the manners of a, whatever, like, and
yeah, get him.
yeah, it's kind of lame, but it is sort of funny how into it he gets.
Nice. How's everybody's week?
Oh yeah, let's mention
pause.
The elephant in the room.
Good, huh?
We missed an episode, y'all, and
we did nothing with our time off, as it appears.
Well, I started a job, and it
about time.
Shockingly, it was a lot. It was a lot, and so I'm the culprit for us not having an episode released last week. So me culpa, but I hope that this makes up for it. But yeah, I've been busy at work. What about you guys? What did you guys get up to?
I had something silly happen last night that I've never had happen, and
you can.
So Matt, yeah, no, so Matt accidentally took an extra little sliver of my edible last night. And
wait, you said you've never had this happen before, but let
me finish.
Multiple conversations.
I didn't say, and that was it. I didn't say okay. Fin. I didn't say like done. No, so we sat down, and me and my wife were like, well, what do you want to watch? And we like typical, like just scroll for 20 minutes. And I was like, all right, just pick something. So I've never seen Big Trouble in Little China.
What a banger.
So we stopped on it and started watching it. I was like, when does it get weird? And like then as soon as
It's really weird.
I remember like kind of dragging my head over and things are, silly and kind of goofy. And then like it gets a little extra more intense and that fucking floating orb eyeball thing comes out. It's like, oh,
Oh no.
it was kind of and he like goes, and he like his eyes and his,
That's so
I don't know.
so
Like,
I don't
I honestly couldn't follow a fucking thing that was happening in that movie because it like the edible like increased over time as things got more weird. And I was like, I'm done with. I gotta stop this.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I remember really enjoying that movie, but I haven't seen it in a good 15 years. So I don't
It
know.
doesn't make
Mhm.
sense. There's like
Well, says you. Says
the
hi,
first
you.
scene where everything gets really weird. It's like all of these Chinese or Asian gangs come out and they're driving a semi truck down an alleyway, and it feels like Kung Fu Hustle. Like they're all coming out and they're spraying bullets everywhere, but they're missing the truck somehow. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. And then that gypsy guy, or the guy who has like the white face in it.
The details are totally lost on me.
Oh, man.
No idea. But Brandon, when was the last time you saw that movie?
Yeah, probably about 10 or more years ago.
You guys should go knock down an edible and try it, because it's like it makes it enjoyable, but like I wasn't ready for it because I had no idea what the movie was about, and it kept getting weirder and weirder with zero context or like sense.
Hey man, are you looking to get confused tonight? Drop an edible and watch Big Trouble in Little China.
Local theater here, they're going to be doing a John Carpenter retrospective, and that's part of it. So I'll probably
That's a
catch
John
up on it
Carpenter
soon.
film?
Yeah. Shows the thing. We were talking about that.
Oh, I didn't
realize. Yeah.
Oh.
He had this whole because he had The Thing, he had that, and then he had Escape from New York, which was later. But they're like, if you look at those movies, they all kind of track that. No, the same guy probably made these.
Yeah. And Kurt Russell.
I like him. Like he does the music to them, and they're all like synth and
heavy synth. Yeah.
It's funny because that's the exact same thing Kara said. She's like, it's like they're trying to be retro, except it's like 1983, and so this is the actual instruments they have available at the time.
Have you can John Carpenter, like he does the music to all of his movies, and you can like he performs concerts sometimes, and he's just
really?
on stage just behind a synth with like a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, just like playing on the boom, 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 or like the Halloween like
What a life.
Yeah.
He probably, I didn't realize he did all the music himself as well. He probably saved a couple of Benjamins for doing that. Sorry, Hans Zimmer. I got it.
Hans Zimmer,
like people have asked him, do you want to make any more movies? And he like, he's kind of an old man now, and he said no, all he wants to do is like smoke weed and play video games.
I mean, homie earned it. What did you do this week, Brandon?
Nothing too exciting. My niece and nephew's birthday was Sunday, or actually it was Saturday, but we celebrated Sunday at my parents' house.
How old are they now?
They're both 20. So
oh my gosh,
that's old. We're old.
That's wild. I remember when they were babies, like when you were like, I now have a niece and nephew. Okay.
I remember when your sister was pregnant. That doesn't seem that long ago.
Well, no.
Yeah, they did.
Which makes me rethink when I saw Big Trouble Little China, because I'm like, well, that was 20 years ago. Then I probably saw that.
Last I saw it was 36 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a fun time. Went out to Sandy and had some Joe's Donuts.
Sweet.
Shout out to Joe's.
Never been a fan, but I know that's a hot take for Sandy.
Yeah,
but
what kind of do you like donuts?
Yeah, I like donuts, but I just don't. We only went there a handful of times, and it was always like very very greasy. So
yeah,
that's
so
good. That's what they're cooked in.
What do you want? A
True.
bagel?
Yeah. All right. This is more or less the reaction I get every time. So it's like, hey, fuck you. What'd you expect? Shut up. Sit
I just
down.
see little Jake walking in there with all the like war veterans that would sit around. Excuse me, do you have bagels? Get the fuck out of here. Woke ass pansy.
This is too sweet. Do you have something more like a dinner roll consistency?
I just
Do you happen to have any dry tortilla chips back
Yeah, do you want salsa? No salsa. I don't even need water.
It doesn't cut the roof of the mouth, and I'm just not interested. Whatever, you guys. Let's get to questions. Fuck you guys.
All right.
I'm going home.
Fair enough.
Take a quick little break. We'll be right back. And welcome back. Feel free to drop us a line at qualifiednonsense@gmail.com or connect with us on our socials. So first up, we've got a question that comes to us actually from...
I'm concerned about Jake's new job and how it's affecting his personal life. He just went from like the education sector and was talking about, I had a nice going away with coffee and donuts, and then a week in, it's what time in North Carolina?
It's 10:27 p.m.
And he's slamming Red Bulls now. He's like a little Silicon Valley boy that
I'm slamming a Red Bull in order to make it through. Okay. I didn't have any greasy ass Joe's Donuts here, so I had to switch to something else. Sweet and disgusting.
I've got a Coke Zero next to me, so I'm slamming caffeine.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt the questioning. I just wanted to ask if Jake it was okay.
No, I'm not. Next question.
His heart is at like 120 beats a minute right now.
I'm trying to match the calories per can. 160. I'll get there.
All right. So this first question comes to us from our own subreddit, r/qualifiednonsense. And it was posted by user Critical End 110. Which,
wait, what is it?
Critical End 110.
That sounds vaguely familiar to me. I think that might be a friend of the podcast.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. That's why they would post there. Otherwise, who's going to find their way there? Be like, hey, let's post
also
this.
our thing, it says like 18 plus NSFW. Like it looks like porno subreddit.
Oh, that's our subscription one that I created. Sorry.
Well, no. Okay, so here's the thing about NSFW. There's plenty of subreddits that are NSFW that aren't like gratuitous porn, because it's not like, technically it's not safe for work. Like if someone wants to go in and ask about like butt plugs or something, technically that's NSFW.
Yeah, I have seen even on like the Stoner Thoughts, for example, they'll vet your posts and make them so you can not say it. Oh, it's not the whole subreddit, but that this one post is not safe for work.
Oh, okay. I can. Well, I guess we could do that.
So, user, if you're looking us up on Reddit and you're like, "What am I getting myself into?" It's fine.
Just click it, find out.
I feel like there's a worthwhile distinction between NSFW and pornography. NSFW just means it's not safe for work. That's what that acronym stands for. And I don't know about where you guys work, but
I don't know. OnlyFans doesn't get flagged on my work computer when I try to log in.
Oh, Matthew.
Well, I'll say Critical End 110 had a very SFW question. So
disgusting.
Like single white
That's
female.
not what the subreddit's for.
They asked, what are good mundane superpowers? To clarify, these are powers that can't possibly be used for evil. Even better if they benefit no one but the user. Example: skin secretes the exact amount of sunscreen needed to avoid sunburn.
Ugh, that's that sounds practical, but also the secretes just. Ugh.
Also,
yeah,
like,
with that,
I sweat so much, so would I just have like just
White
sunscreen like
paste.
running down my face? Like,
you know when you like Oh, this is like Papa's It, when it like curls out like if you're sweating like so hard it's like curly like white
Yeah.
cream.
Well,
Just your
also, what would
clothes
be
are just
the
soaked in
Ew.
suntan lotion. They're all wet.
No,
You
but it's the perfect amount. So like,
and it's also not
that's all.
sunscreen. It's probably that mineral stuff, so it's all over your pants. Like you got these dry white spots all over your pants.
Wasn't
Gross.
that? Don't hippos do that? Isn't that why they
Oh, actually,
sweat?
yeah.
Don't they sweat red or something? And it's like to protect them from the sun or something like that.
I have no idea. That
No,
sounds
there is
cool,
something about hippos where they generate their own. Are hippos superhuman?
Superhuman? Probably not.
I don't know. I can't think of one like I don't. I would think of like bone regrowth, but that almost seems like super power. Like, oh, you're doing a chore around the house and you fall off the ladder and you break your arm and you're just like, oh, Dad's back. Where'd that bone grow?
Hey.
Gonna have to start thinking about that one.
I would say, you know what? I've thought about this a similar topic before, but I would really enjoy the ability to have a sort of like a maniacal laugh and then have there be an immediate like crash of lightning behind me, in like Young Frankenstein where they like say, I forget who's like somebody's name and then there's lightning every time and the horses neigh, like that sort of superpower where it like doesn't effectively do anything, but I can go and have it go crash outside and then it's like then everything like sort of goes back to normal.
Or just for like dramatic effect, like you could command it like you're reading a story or something to your boys, and then like
right, exactly,
have lightning crash.
Cue lightning, yeah. Never go, yeah.
What about you, Brandon? You got any?
Well, I did respond to the question, and in
the subreddit,
yeah. So I said maybe the ability to not get fatigued. Like you could run back-to-back marathons or put in a 40-hour work week in 2 days. Like just something where you don't get tired and you could accomplish extra tasks.
That's pretty good.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
I mean that suntan lotion one is pretty good.
I mean, that's useful. That's
I guess I would say like the ability to fall asleep anywhere. I like envy the people that can do that. I think that's a superpower in and of itself because like people will like be waiting for a plane and they'll just sit there and just be like, I can't do that. Can you guys? Can you fall asleep anywhere?
Not easily. I have to be pretty worn out to do that.
Yeah, mine usually comes from a high level of fatigue. But
I know our friend Ryan can sleep anywhere. Like he can pass out.
Yeah,
anywhere he's sitting. But
I think there would be certain cases where that would be nice, like to just get on a plane and be like, oh, well, you got 8 hours. Here we go.
Oh, I've got one. Just to be able to do like none of the health benefits that come with it, but just to be able to do like a bunch of pull-ups, just like without much effort. Because pull-ups are really difficult for me. I don't have a lot of upper body strength. I mean, I have a fair amount, but that requires like core and back muscles that I do not exercise, and so I can only get like a couple of pull-ups in before I'm like, well,
really
I can't do that
climber.
again. I know. I could do the down part. I can go down. I could rappel. But yeah.
It would also be nice to have like any given random bar trick like that you could probably profit on.
Oh.
Of like, oh, I don't really play pool, and then like you suddenly know geometry.
And then you clean up.
Yeah, but you can pull it off. Or like, no, I can't really sing. I don't know how to sing. And then you have like the best pipes that the bar has ever heard that night or something. Like, oh, I've never played darts before. And
Yeah.
It would be cool if you just like could take a deck of cards and just do like any sort of card trick with it and like impress people. Just like, hey, you
Yeah,
want to
and
see something cool? Pick a card, and then like you don't even have to think about it. You just
in that
just
same
does.
mindset, I wish I could I wish I could commit like large scale fraud and not get caught. That'd be fun. No.
well, it says these powers can't be used for evil.
Ah,
But I guess if you're
fine.
robbing from an evil
The
person,
rich?
then maybe
Mhm.
it's okay.
Yeah. Hey, there's a loophole for everything.
Unrelated to the critical ends comment, I would like to remind our listeners that if you find yourself in Detroit, specifically in Troy, Michigan, there's a great little bar. Is it a bar?
It's a brewery, right?
It's a brewery. Yeah, brew pub. It's called Stumblebum Brewing, and it's really good. They've got delicious. They have beer flights as well as fry flights. This is not sponsored, but I recommend going there because it's delicious.
Wait, like French fries?
Yeah, they have like different sauces to go with each fry, so you get to choose 3 or something, and then they shake like seasoning on each of the baskets, and then pair it with a sauce, and it's really good. And their fries
Are they one of those
actually,
places that hopefully doesn't, if that's how they're doing it, they're not one of those places that like charges you an extra 25 cents for ranch?
No, that ranch is one of the pairings. I forget for which
Ooh,
one,
nice.
but it's no, it's good, and their beers are fucking solid.
Well,
German
check them
style.
out.
Check them out.
Stumblebum.
Oh yeah, ooh, Stumblebum.
I
Well, I
think
just thought of one.
Go ahead.
It would be a good power to have if you could like walk through the woods or swim in water or wherever, somewhere like in the wild, and animals are like repelled by you. Like mosquitoes, bears, cougars,
Ugh.
sharks, whatever.
Yeah.
Like they are not, so you could like not have to worry about being attacked or being stung or being bitten.
I like, Brandon, that you put sharks at the end to make it seem like that wasn't on the the top
Like
of
I
your
just
list.
slipped that in. Like that wasn't a number 1 on my list.
I thought of one as well. And it's kind of due to the fact that we just had some handiwork done at our house, and there's like 3 things that I don't fuck with: electricity, plumbing, and gas. Like when it comes to home handy projects.
Yeah.
And so in new construction homes, we've been in this house going on 12 years, so it's not considered new construction anymore. But they are required to put in these pieces between the sinks and the bathtubs, which is an anti-scalding unit. So it takes your hot water, but it also injects a little cold water, so it won't go above a certain temperature. They're annoying for a couple of different reasons. Your baths never get warm like you want them to be because of this piece, but we also have hard water, so the pieces themselves like clog up, and now I was able to get any hot water at all. So I brought this guy in, and he's like, oh, you just take this pipe from here to here, but like looking at it, there's 4 different pipes and they're all kind of catty corner. I was like, I don't want to cut one and be like, oh shit, that wasn't the right one. So I think it would be a great power to say, like, to look at a home handy project and be able to just like figure it out like that, like have the ability to compute how to do it. Like, oh, this piece of plumbing goes from here to here to here. And it's almost like Tony Stark, I guess, like Iron Man, how he sees it through his mask and stuff.
I will say one of the best ways to start that journey is have your dad come over, let's say hypothetically, and try to change out a shower head and have him break something behind the wall. Then you learn really fast about all that stuff. That's what I did. Kurt, shout out to Kurt if you're listening. My dad. He was visiting us in New Jersey. I think I've already told the story, but he like tried to change out the shower head. He's like, oh, this shower head's, we don't really like this, and we brought our own. And I was like, that's hilarious, but okay, go for it. And then he twists it and something behind the wall broke, and there was like water behind the wall and stuff, and we're like, oh shit. So that turned into the project of us busting open the wall, and like I learned a lot about soldering, and now I do a lot of plumbing. That's sort of my jam. So
Trial by fire.
exactly, take that journey, man. Break a
I
pipe,
kind of
fuck
did.
around
I
and
did
find out.
once. We we have a bunch of homes that are being built around us, and like they bring in these earth movers, and we ended up with a lot of drywall cracks. But our walls are textured, and so I was trying to like patch it with the everything, and then get the texture right, and then paint over it. That was frustrating, and I was like, oh shit. Well, that one didn't work. I better go over to this other crack and try there, because surely that's going to be different. So I had all of these patches around. It's like, get it right.
You want to do one more question?
Yeah,
Let's do it. Got time for one more?
let's get in there.
Sure. So this one comes from r/no stupid questions. User view from halfway down. They ask, if every animal on Earth became hostile to humans at the same time, could they hunt us to extinction? Like every animal just became bloodlusted to kill humans at the same time. How fucked would we be? I imagine dogs alone would do numbers.
Yeah. Dogs alone, like that's if you leave your house, but like I mean bears, moose, elk, deer, they could kick in any door and window.
I think that's right, but I think we would succumb more quickly to possums, raccoons, rats, because they're around us. Disease, but also like they're already, for the most part, they're already in our houses, or like very, very close to our houses, and we just like totally ignore them because they're nocturnal, anything nocturnal, we're fucked. Because if they basically turn on the bloodlust, we're like, all right, we're gonna go to sleep, and they're like, all right, fuck you guys. You know what I mean?
Like how many spiders does the average person swallow in their sleep? Right? Like you have to sleep at some point. Thinking about
Person
snakes,
does have an edit. They say not including insects because I think they'd instantly wipe us out.
Yeah.
But like snakes, I already have fears of like, we don't live in an area that has venomous snakes or big snakes at all. But like, I still freak out about one just like climbing up my bed at night and coming up the comfort. Like, But like, let's assume they catch the lust. No,
they catch the lust.
You're gonna wake up with half your body in a snake's mouth.
Ooh.
Or or
was it my birthday?
Well, I mean, like a python maybe, or like a boa.
So that reminds me, I've got two good stories for you, Matt. Well, I mean, first, like, must be nice. We've got what do we have here?
Oh, I just rattlesnakes.
No, well, I think
like
we might have
cottonmouth,
but we definitely have. Oh my gosh, I'm spacing on their name. There's a brown snake that's very venomous here. Anyway, oh my gosh,
does it have a little rattle on its tail?
No, it doesn't have a rattle.
No.
I wish they had a rattle. No, they're just all over the place. And I'm embarrassed to have forgotten their name. But I will say also Copperhead. Copperhead. They're all over the place. They were in my neighbor's basement.
They're the most common venomous snake in North Carolina.
Yep, that's them. They're little bastards.
Kill them all.
But also, we've got black rat snakes that are really long, and they've got really kinked backs. They climb trees, Matt, here in the great state of North Carolina. And my in-laws they heard a sound like in their house, and one like fell from the ceiling, and it had, what they think happened is it climbed into their like the ridges in their metal roof to warm up, and then it just like climbed inside, and they're like, well, a snake like a 6-foot snake just like plopped down in their living room. And I was like,
nope, gotta burn it down. Start somewhere else.
It's too bad, you gotta burn the whole property.
We keep getting these like giant house spiders that we find around our house that you know, they're like, you know,
are they
really
wolf spiders?
No, I looked him up, and apparently they're just house spiders, is
Oh.
what they're called, and but they get really big. Like you just look up a common house spider. That's kind of what it is. But yeah, we find them all over. They're fast too. But they've got like really long legs, and yeah, we find them. Like there was one behind my head on the wall yesterday that Christian was like, "Get up, get up, get up." um, yeah, I don't know. Like, do you think pets would turn against their? I guess if it was every animal on Earth that became hostile to humans.
Yeah, but like also just thinking of birds and stuff. Like we have
Birds.
hummingbirds that are pretty aggressive in general. Like
They're
they're like, what are you
very.
doing with my food? And like they're mean to each other. Um, so it's like even just them, like, and they can move so quick. Like they'll just come over and poke your eye out and fly away. Weird. That's a weird
Ooh,
concept to think about.
what about like moles and stuff that are like subterranean, like burrow? Like if they get the bloodlust, they're like buck you, buck you, buck you as they're digging towards you.
Earthworms or something.
Earthworm. Oh my god.
Ugh.
But like birds, I don't know, they fly into windows and kill themselves. So
Idiots.
Yeah, but that's not when they're filled with rage. It only takes one of them.
I mean,
Kamikaze like one of them in.
True. Yeah.
Well,
I think they could hunt us to extinction.
I think so.
Like especially if you do get, fish involved or yeah, I mean this person says not including insects, but
Now, even though we're excluding insects, I will say that sort of one of the reasons why humans might make it out is that they do have some pretty wild technology as far as weaponry goes. But also, I remember seeing probably 10-ish years ago, some information about in a couple of like high malaria areas in Africa, they have laser nets basically where they have these high ISO cameras that can detect the geolocation of female mosquitoes, which are the ones that bite and potentially carry malaria. And so they can identify a female versus a male mosquito and they laser it out of the sky just in like a camp or like a small area. So it's like Iron Dome for just mosquitoes. And if that technology is available, they can certainly hit things larger than mosquitoes.
Wonder why they didn't say, how about we just kill mosquitoes, period? Rather than like spending, I mean, was that an extra 5-year grant to get just females?
Probably, but mosquitoes are a huge part of like the global ecosystem. Like they feed a bunch of stuff, and they are the lowest rung or among the lowest rung of all like major food chains or like whatever it is, like food, food chains.
Can a bat eat like its weight in mosquitoes every night, or like some crazy statistic like that?
Crazy, yeah.
It's just like sardines in the ocean. Have you guys seen those nature channels where they like pods of dolphins or something take out an entire like colony of sardines? And that's why they procreate so often. Same with mosquitoes, is because they are the food source of so many things. And if you take them away, Matthew, like you want to, you're shaking the foundation.
They serve
like,
no
fuck
purpose.
it.
Fuck them. Fog them all out.
Yep.
Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe they're not supposed to be in the areas that we're in. Like, there's a lot of other creatures that have been introduced to different areas that have taken like where I live. There's turkeys that were brought over from like the East Coast or whatever at one point, and they spread out here, and now they're everywhere, and they're a nuisance, and they tear up people's yards and things. But they're like nutria.
Yeah, so
the guy who
nutria is an invasive species here in the wildlife refuge, and they can't do anything about it because they're also protective. They're also protected.
But the guy
Nutriar?
The guy who created Tabasco sauce, Michelini, whatever his first name is, he first brought nutria from South America, like he was on like a spice hunting trip. And he brought nutria from South America to Louisiana, and then they just spread throughout the country from there.
That's the same with plants. Obviously, there's a lot of gardening conversations around, making your yard sort of with native plants because it's better for the soil generally, but also it doesn't run rampant in, like, if it spreads, like if seed spreads, it doesn't just take over. Like Scotch broom in fields, you see Scotch broom take over. And then what's that other one that runs wild? Oh, bamboo.
Blackberries.
Bamboo you see everywhere. Blackberries. I actually don't know if blackberries are
I don't
native.
think blackberries are native to the U.S. I think they were brought here.
I mean, that would make sense because they do take over like crazy.
I hope that person died a horrible death.
Well, we've got ivy too.
Here's your weed.
Got a ton of ivy in the forest next to us, so that's actually one of my summer projects, is to go out and chop a bunch of ivy off of some of the big oak trees around here.
Just get a goat.
We thought about that, but then
Your neighbors will hate you.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Goats are dumb and kind of mean as it is, let alone if they got the rage.
Oh yeah. That's a good point. Goats alone probably would win. They're bastards. They'll eat anything. I've seen a goat eat a tin can. Just didn't even think twice about it.
Yeah, we when my grandparents passed, we hired one out to come eat around their pole barn and like just do general maintenance, and we moved it around on this chain, which is the weirdest thing. Like, it didn't think to eat the chain it was on, but it ate everything. Like, there were tin cans, like there's soda cans and trash and blackberry bushes, and just munched through it all. I was like, good God, their intestines must be like just
cast
made
iron.
out of, yeah.
It's just a metal tube.
It's wild.
That's why it comes out in those little balls, because their intestines are like, fuck you.
Yeah,
I don't know what to do with all this stuff.
You're like compressing them into BBs.
Let's get this out of here. Yeah, like imagine eating the sharp razor edge aluminum can, and somehow your body is able to be like, here's a little smooth nugget.
I mean, that's impressive. Really, they should take over, because that's like efficiency to its finest.
Eating thorny plants like not tear up the insides of their mouths?
I don't know. They don't give a fuck.
Like, how do you not see like goats with like bleeding mouths all the time? I don't know.
Yeah,
they do have really sharp. You know how like cat tongues are really sharp?
Mm-hmm.
They have tongues like that I think they just crush them up. I think they just like turn it into like oatmeal.
Their
in
gums
their
are
mouths.
just like a big callus. Yeah.
There's a superpower: eating anything and turning it into little pellets.
Actually, there is. I think he's a DC Comics character called Matter Eater Lad. From I think he was invented in like the 40s or 50s. But if you look it up, it's a guy who can eat anything, and he eats like like atomic bombs or eats, whatever. Like, but yeah, he'll eat like enemy ships and stuff like that.
How big is he? Jeez.
Oh my gosh, you're
like
right.
a human.
That's so funny.
They turned a competitive eater just into a superhero.
Pretty much. He was invented. First appearance 1962.
Does he just
from
look like
Matter
Guy
Eater
Fieri?
Lad. All right, well, is that an episode?
I mean, gosh, that was a good episode. You're welcome, listeners.
Well, thank you all for listening. Please support the show over at Patreon at patreon.com/qualifiednonsense. Watch us over at YouTube at youtube.com/@qualifiednonsense. Also, feel free to send any questions or comments to qualifiednonsense@gmail.com or the subreddit, or hit us up on our socials found in the episode description. And once you've done all that, please rate, review, share, like, and subscribe on your podcast app of choice. And we'll see you back here next week for another brand new episode of Qualified Nonsense.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Goodbye.